Hey guys, let me know if I'm moving around and you could actually see me and hear me okay. In fact, let me move my microphone a little bit closer. It's so anticlimactic because there's no sounds on my end. I don't see anything. I just start talking to myself or start talking to you guys, I guess. Yay! Okay, cool. Sweet. So, like I promised, I was going to be back today since yesterday was nothing but football games and playing catch up, and I was working on a commission, so today seemed like the best time to move forward with this page. So awesome. So glad that some of you got to see or hang out today, because I know Saturday is a hit and miss sometimes, and most days are, I guess. But did my team win? Teams? Well, okay, if you're talking about fantasy football, I look like I might be winning this week. But if you're talking about actual games, yes, my team did win. So awesome. Thanks, Richard. What's up, Cleaver, JD, Jeremiah, State of the Art, and Joshua. See if I missed anybody. Yes. So let me type in a few things on the pin a few things, as you know, for the Kickstarter, and then I could start coloring. So one second. Okay. CPS neowonderland.com. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right. Okie dokie. Where did I leave off? So last time I started coloring and it was pretty flat, and I told you guys I should have one second. Should have flattened it first before I started to show you how to do it. So right here is the different stages it would be at if I was to from the black and white to the color flats, which you kind of see right here. And then I started some of the shadow and light right here. And then I started to shade and add some screen tones right here. Yeah, so. Oh yeah, I remember, Joshua. Yeah, that's right. We were talking, I think last week and maybe a week before, about you teaching and how important it is for people to just kind of get familiarized with art and drawing and creating all the time. So that's awesome. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you're not doing this during work. Or maybe I am. Maybe you guys are all watching me. So I should probably watch. I haven't said any curse words since I've streamed, but sometimes it happens, right? Anyways. So let's see here. You guys are all watching. Shh. She's so cute. Hey, Leah. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm watching myself while I'm at work too, so I might get in trouble. I mean, this is my job, and I could fire myself if I wanted to. Oh, nice. Okay, Joshua, that's good to know. So that means you guys could put my live stream in your curriculum. Kind of yes and no. Did I talk last week about avoid a more pattern with screen tones? I haven't watched last week's yet, but I struggle with making screen tones work once it's time to print. Avoid a moire pattern. You mean one that looks repetitive, and does that mean where it looks, how do I explain this? Where it looks like it's moving or something? Is that what you mean? Or I guess if I'm, when it looks weird. Yeah, you know what? So I don't know if you have a printer at home, but if you, before you take it to, go to print with your book, to print out the actual how it's going to look printed, then you'll be able to tell just by looking at it if you need to adjust the dots per, what is it called? Let me make sure I don't mess this up. Okay, so let's say we go here, it's called, well, the frequency of the dots, right? Or frequency of the screen tone. Oh, yeah, we don't want that. Okay. So what I did here, I actually, you know, I just used a mask so that I could make the YouTube thumbnail, but yeah, dots per inch, that's it. So yeah, I print it out usually, and I like to space it out. Oh, dang it. Sorry guys. Everything's breaking. So are the colors? So okay, let's see here. The colors are not supposed to be muted or dull, Richard. It's because those are base tones. So what I do is I start with the base tone first, and then I start to build up the saturation. This is the best way to do it. If you kind of look at her eyes, you see how before I color it in, it's muted, and then once you go into the shading and stuff, you get all that saturation right there. So, and what's awesome is, you know, this is digital, so I could actually just go back and change things if I needed to, and adjust it like on an adjustment layer where you change the saturation, the light, the contrast. So that's what's nice about that, and I could just kind of streamline that process. But so let me see if I could. I'm just gonna get rid of this mask. Okay, so what? 1 second. Enable mask. Okay. So that's what it looks like right now. I'm gonna color her other eye so you guys kind of see how I approach that right there. So the desk is kind of short. Okay, my back was starting to hurt. Okay, let me see if I miss anything. Okay, good. Is this a cyberpunk story? Electric emphasis. Yes, this is a cyberpunk story. So I mean, I love the genre just because you get to play with a lot of grittiness, the themes in a lot of cyberpunk stories, and the way that the colors are and stuff like that. You could play around with so much stuff. It's kind of really cool, and it's a good way to, like, I think the allegory that you could use, you know, in cyberpunk is rich, kind of like, you know, Blade Runner and stuff. So let's see. She's staring at like a monitor, which is going to have like a sort of like cyan tint to it. So when I get her whole entire face colored, it's going to have, you see how the left side is like a cold white. It's going to be the same way on this side too. State of the art, yes. So Clip Studio Paint is a one-time purchase, and I've had it for a few years, so it's been pretty awesome to me. So that's kind of how I start the eyes, and kind of you bring out the tones. So Michael, does she own an electric sheep? No, but she does own a cat that has an AI cat, or an electric cat, if you want to call him that, the one that's got wings. It's he's actually a hologram, basically, of a cat that used to be alive, that's no longer alive. And so this cat right here is actually just a hologram of an AI cat, or a real cat, that his body has been, his brain has been transferred into a little what do you call it? This little device that Pocky has. So, and that's his best friend. So how many of you are actually working right now? I mean, not working, but like drawing right now. And I know some of you are at work, so which is pretty cool. Because I saw a few people showing me that they were working on stuff during the stream, so I think that's really cool. It's like having a virtual art studio. Oh, doodling, okay. Michael, no, she's not an Android, but maybe I shouldn't have said anything. No, she's not an Android. Yeah, I don't want to do that part of this. I don't want to go that route with my story, just because then it's kind of on the nose, and everybody who's doing, not everybody, but a lot of the cyberpunk stories, they deal with like, you know, the main characters being not human and stuff, which I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet. I want my main characters to be human, if I may. And well, unless you count Pocky, because he's not, he's definitely, well, he thinks he's human. Montezuma, awesome. Yeah, you know, it's funny, like I'll watch other people's live streams and I'll be drawing as well, just, you know, so that I'm not feeling alone and stuff, or bored, I should say. I get bored. Oh, awesome. Half you guys are drawing right now. Sweet. So we have half the people at work and then half drawing along. Awesome. No one's just sitting around drinking coffee. I mean, that'd be kind of boring, right? I guess the goal is to get everybody to draw together at the same time, like a watch and draw instead of a drink and draw. So after I finish coloring this page, I'm going to go straight into a page that's got the whole entire, it's like just an establishing shot of the city, so it's going to be all buildings. I don't know if you guys want to watch me coloring buildings, but I think the coolest thing about Cyberpunk is you have flying cars, all this like, you know, holographic billboards and stuff in the back, so it's going to be kind of fun just to do backgrounds. Plus, I know a lot of people don't like doing backgrounds, so it might be cool to do something like that. Hey Alex, thanks for hanging out with us on a Monday, nonetheless. Eyes are coming together. Let's see here. Yes, Wimslore, Cyberpunk cityscapes are the best, and I'm kind of excited because when I first started doing the story, it wasn't going to be as cyberpunk as it is currently in this iteration of the story, but I think it would be much more interesting that way and fun to draw, and I could do so much with it. You know, I mean, the future is basically now. When I started this story in the early 2000s, I thought it was so clever because none of this stuff was actually real technology yet. We're talking like even before cell phones. There's no FaceTime, there's no smartphones. You know, it was back in the day when Fast and Furious was like huge and everything, you know, and when it first came out. So that's kind of where this all started, and slowly I kind of like incorporated all these elements into it, and I'm happy with where we're at now. I mean, it's go time, and it's time to like put this book out, so Judge Dredd is awesome. You know, I was actually showing Vince some stories that I thought I really liked the synopsis for the stories. So one of them was like Demolition Man as well, and Judge Dredd, and the Running Man movie. What was it? RoboCop. You know, all those really cool 80s cyberpunk movies and dystopian, future dystopian. Let's see. So with tools and brushes, you know, like a lot of people ask me like what brushes I like using, and I know a lot of other artists, they have their preferences as well. And you know, a lot of times I think the default brushes in these programs are already really good as they are. So it's not like, you know, you need to go out and buy any crazy brushes or anything like that. But the default brushes are awesome in Clip Studio as well as Photoshop, as you guys know, and even Procreate. And so all I did was I bought a couple of screen tone brushes back in the day, and I just imported it into Clip Studio to use. So let me see if I could find those brushes that I was talking about, like right. It's called duotones. So I got duotone brushes. Can't remember where I got it from, but that's where the texture is from on the side of her face. I have like a duotone brush set here. So hey Terrell, so this is my own comic book, Neo Wonderland, and it's a cyberpunk story, and I'm planning on releasing this on Kickstarter at the end of October this year. So I think it's the 28th or something. So I'm wrapping up some of these pages so that I could put it on the Kickstarter landing page. So badass. Okay, awesome. So I'll do coloring of the buildings. There's a little bit of it here, but it's not going to be nearly as extensive as the other one, which honestly, if I'm going to do coloring of the buildings live, I'm probably going to pre-do some of the flat colors so that we're not standing here forever, or sitting here doing what I did last week, where I was just going in there and doing all the, you see the advertisements and the screens behind Pocky outside. Yeah, that would take forever to do on a full-on page. Thank you so much. So let's see. Okay, let's finish the shine in her eyes. I tried to label these layers as best as I could, but I don't know how good that I don't want to add too many layers, so I kind of started to put multiple things on the same layer. Thank God for shortcut keys. Oh man. Imagine if I had to use my, had to keep going back to the menu to get stuff. It'd take forever to color. I mean, that's the advantage of coloring traditionally or inking, is because you don't have to like sit there and go over to the brushes and the tools and use them. So that's what I like about using traditional mediums. However, because we have shortcut keys, it's much easier to work this way. Plus your mistakes aren't necessarily permanent unless you accidentally save over stuff. So oh, awesome, Wimslor. So you found some screen tone brushes. You know, I'm going to try to locate where I got the brushes from, because they are amazing, and for the price it was worth, I think it was like 20 or 30 bucks. I got like a bunch of different tones, and I was gonna make my own brushes, but I haven't gotten around to making a brush set yet. Plus I like the ones that I'm using anyways that other people have. So white accent. Oops. Grit Texture Supply. You know what? Maybe that's where I got it from. Sounds familiar. Do you use color palettes from Pinterest? I didn't think about doing that. I could probably look it up though, and it might make my job a little easier. Okay, so what I normally do, I skip around a little bit sometimes, because it prevents me from like over rendering one area, and then it just makes everything so it's nice and consistent. Yeah. I'm an artist who has a decent knowledge about anatomy, framing, lighting, and competent. I just need to learn to support myself. I'm exhausted by overthinking. Your thoughts on commercial illustration? That is a good question, because I could give you like feedback, but then I realized like, well, then I'm being not being genuine in the sense that I've been doing this for a long time. So it's easy for me to say that now, but if I had to think about like how I came up and do what I'm doing right now, it was like I was hyper focused on certain companies I wanted to work for, certain books I wanted to work on, so I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I think starting out, they say you could be generally, you could generalize, but I feel like it is good to kind of niche yourself down into what you want to do, so that you could take your first few steps and get work. So whatever you feel like your strong points are, I say start there, and you could always work your way into the position of art that you want to do. So for example, I started out as a cover artist, drawing covers for Aspen Comics, because I wanted to eventually start penciling and being the artist on the interior work. So I got to do covers for them, and I did it in Photoshop at the time. And then I went from that, I think a couple years later, I did like a really short 5-page mini story for them, and it went from that, and I colored it, and I did the line art, and it was for a charity piece. And then after that, I started to get interior pages, and I colored interior pages, and I went from that to doing my own, which is a crazy jump, my own mini series, or my own series. Yeah, it was Lola XOXO. So that was my progression as an artist to do it professionally. So, and I obviously I wasn't good at everything. I was kind of okay at everything. I was like the jack of all trades, but it was enough to get me hired and get me working, and for the first 4 or 5 years or so. So I think it took 4 years for me to get from drawing covers to doing my own series. And I did a lot of drawing. A lot of drawing, a lot of promoting, a lot of practicing, and making things that didn't look so hot at first. So if you have a specific, let's just say, thing that you want to work on, whether it's for a company or type of work, I say start at the entry point where you think that you'll get hired to do something first. So that's my quick advice on that. Ooh, what's going on here? Wrong there. Maybe it's darker. That's what it was. Yes. You over-rendered trees a lot. You know, I think just at first, yeah, it's good to kind of move around in like a uniform, like, you know, be, what am I trying to say? I guess look at the overall picture of what you're doing and kind of start big and go small. But if you need to get warmed up, it doesn't hurt to just like start, you know, noodling or doing something else. But that also can make it where you accidentally like over render something and spend too much time on something, and then you have like this whole entire page that you have to do. So for example, if I wasn't actually doing a live stream and I was actually doing this to get a deadline done, I probably wouldn't spend all this time doing it like this. What I would actually do is go in and finish. Let's do the desk. The desk has been bothering me because it needs to be colored in. So monitors, billboards. Let's just stick this in the monitors category. So say desk. I don't know what color I want her desk to be. No, I don't want it to be purple. So, let's just make it like a grayish white for now. But then I don't want that color either. How about that? Okay, so let's see. I would go in and actually start doing the backgrounds and making sure all that's ready to go first before I start, you know, rendering, adding lighting and detail, because that then is just going to slow me down. But since I'm doing a demo, so you guys can kind of see how I approach like lighting and stuff like that. But I would basically go in and actually make sure everything is drawn in first. So let's see. Hey Trevor. Yeah, Michael, for sure, and I completely understand why. And so that's why with this Kickstarter, even though I'm only gonna have the first 4 pages, I'm sorry, oops, no, not 4 pages, 40 pages. I'm gonna have a black and white version of it as well in one of the backer tiers. But then once I have, let's just say 120 pages or so, then I could do like a thicker graphic novel manga style version of it where it's in black and white as well. So then you have like, you know, and I think the price point because of the size might be pretty good for what that is. Hey Jay, what's up? Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us on a Monday. No, that's not it. Wait. Okay, well, let's try that. I'm gonna go back and add these as like LED strips or something and change the color on these. I think that's right. to get better at inking my pictures. Apparently young people, how is it? Thank you guys so much. So let me see if I could, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish her face up, and then I'm probably gonna move to like the background here, so you can kind of see, at least before next week, how I approach doing backgrounds, because it is kind of like intimidating to have all this stuff going on in the scene and everything. So let's see. I think I'm gonna change the color of the background behind Pocky, the sky, I mean, because I don't like the purple. Like I said, it's just like a placeholder, and if I wanted to have some of the purple showing through, what I basically do is just like use the lasso fill tool, and then just pick a color I want. Like, let's just say I want kind of a blue, and just turn the opacity down so it's like 50%. That's manageable for me. And then is that 50% as well? No. I'm gonna just fill this in the color I want. Okay, that looks better. It's just too much purple right now. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm gonna call you Lou. I hope these videos are helping, and it helps me out too, because sometimes, like I keep telling you guys, like I always forget what pencils I'm using and ink and stuff sometimes, or brush, because I like to play around with my art supplies. But I realized, like, going back and watching my videos, if I wanted to achieve a look or something, it reminds me of like what tools I'm using as well. So oh yes, that's right. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot about the shadow on this side of the face. I was gonna do that earlier, and then I jumped around again. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, that's what it was. Okay, so Alia said, I respect your background work too. It is inspiring to see it inked out, because that's always the least exciting, albeit a necessary skill to at least have background knowledge of, or basic knowledge of. You know what? If there's anything we could learn and to help us get through drawing comic books, it's learning how to do backgrounds and how to approach it. And you know what the trick is, actually, and I don't do this a lot, but I need to get better at like not rendering backgrounds in every single panel, and only on the panels where it's an establishing shot or it's like a wide angle shot, because I have friends who when they don't need to draw the background, and it's just like a talking head, so it's just like two people talking, no background necessary, or so if you could pick and choose what panels need the background, whether it's part of the story, establishing shot, or a wide angle shot, then I think it's probably less overwhelming that way, and then it's much easier to do backgrounds. And so I've gotten used to drawing backgrounds, and I do a lot of it just for practice, because this comic book relies so heavily on the cityscapes and the scene, and the ambience, that like I feel like I need to get really comfortable drawing those things. And so at some point I'll probably get better at like, okay, this is just a talking head panel. The backgrounds aren't really necessary. You could just fill it in with a gradient or screen tones. But this scene was so important with the background that I decided that most of the panels needed the background, and it's also just that it's the first time you see her home or her office, so it's kind of good to have those rendered out until people kind of get used to knowing where they're at, I guess. There was another reason why you went color restriction. So other than time, was there any other reason why you went with digital colors over traditional colors? Does digital print cleaner? Hellborn Phoenix, that's a great question. I think so. There's three factors, because when I make a decision, especially something like this, it has to be because it's time and money, that goes into this. It's because of the Cyberpunk book, so it would look a lot better, I think, with the lighting and everything that I'm going for and the different colors. It would print way better because it was done digitally than if I did it traditionally. So, for example, if you used neon paint and you tried to reproduce it by taking photos or scanning it, it doesn't reproduce. It doesn't show up at all. So the only way to get through that, especially with this type of book, is to do it on the computer versus painting it. Because I did try that. I actually had one page where I was where I colored it with India ink, and it was bright colors, and when you scan it, it didn't look as vibrant, And then time also is a huge factor, because I'm doing the whole book myself, essentially writing, drawing, coloring, and inking, just to save time and money. So it's a lot of heavy lifting, and it costs a lot of money if you're doing 40 pages all with ink and stuff, and then the colors aren't consistent. So there's that. But I still think I might do the covers, make a couple covers maybe with an ink wash, and markers, so it's traditional. But so those things factored into why I decided this book should be done digitally versus traditionally. And I still get to draw the pages, so at least I get the ink and it's on paper, so there's still texture on the line art, at least, instead of it being all digital, where you could technically just use the pencils and the ink brushes that come with these software and it still look like traditional. But I feel like there's a certain level of control or lack thereof that you let go of when you're doing things by hand. So I kind of like the balance between the two, and that's why I went with traditional inks and pencils, and then digital color, so there's a balance between the digital and the traditional, and it just looks and feels different, I just digressed that time. The city is a character. Yes, that's what Batman is, basically. That's what I was told, and I fully agree. Color's way down there. Where is it? Maybe it's this one. Greetings from Dublin Island. Do you digital paint on an interactive screen? Millions of layers. Do you set up folders? Wonder if a light gray may be suited for. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm thinking maybe a gray for the floor, because usually that's what they look like, Cyberpunk, or some kind of bluish tone because it's at night. I don't have a lot of folders and layers. I try to condense it pretty good. But if it's a really important page or things that I have to change a lot, like if I'm doing pages for work, I would have a lot more layers than I'm comfortable with. But then I try to condense it too, because then it's just it taxes the computer and makes it really slow, or what am I saying here? Or it's just confusing and I'm trying to speed through everything, so. What was the question? Do I have a cat, Michael? I don't, but my brother has 3 cats, I think. He had a few cats, and so Pocky's actually the family cat. It's his cat, and he was the inspiration behind this character, and he passed away a few months ago, so he's no longer with us. But he's the sweetest, most amazing cat ever. But so this page is dedicated to Pocky. See, and I'm gonna add another layer for floor. Okay, I'm here. Where's your next 3 wishes? No, you didn't script the joke. I get the joke. Oh yeah, thank you. Is it Hellborn Phoenix? But I think the key to doing interior art in multiple pages so you don't get burned out and stressed out and anxiety, which honestly speaking, I still get that from time to time if I have too many things going on, because sometimes I'm not working on just like one book. It's either a couple of books or a book and cover, or just there's all these things that I have to do, so I get anxiety. And it's like that's why I've developed this approach, you know, after a decade or so of doing this. So it's not, you know, it's not brand new to me. I haven't done anything really completely new from all the years of working. Hello, Voro. Hello. So, okay, what was I doing? I think I was coloring her cheeks. I think that's there's a bit more pink on the left side. I guess that makes sense because the light's pink on that side. Okay, I'm gonna go on to something else for now. I'm debating. Oh, I guess we could do Pocky. We could do Pocky, yeah. I don't even know what that is. Let's just do shadow. Oh, Fruity, oh, congratulations on drawing and inking. So I guess the good approach is to do what I'm doing here, where it's like flat colors, and then you build your light and shadow from there. And the easy shortcut for shadows is using the multiply layer. That way you don't have to sit there and try to figure out the shadows for each spot. I mean, that would take forever. So I have a base, what do you call it? Shadow color already. Let me see if I can remember what it was. Oh, that works, yeah. So I'm gonna try to speed through this part a little bit. Okay, that's why it's working like that. I think I like that color. Okay. I don't want to over render his fur because the inclination is to do that, but then, you know, because it's more of a cell shaded style for the characters, a little bit more, not super cell shaded, but it's easy for me to over render because I do that a lot with my other books, but this one is a little more stylized. So I'm gonna try to just pick areas where I want to accent. My God, he's so funny. Pocky. I used to FaceTime this cat all the time. You know, I didn't realize it. You know, they say the internet was created because of cat videos, which I don't think is untrue at all. it's probably why FaceTime is so, and video calls are so special and important, because you get to video call with your cats and dogs. So fruity gray, I mean, I don't start out with gray. What I do is start out with the muted tones. So it'd be like a medium tone for it. So this is a white cat, and right now he's kind of dark. And so I start with a middle color, and then I add the shadow with the multiply layer, and then I add like the lighting, the highlights with like a screen or soft light layer. So yeah, I do middle tones first, and then after that I build by adding more saturation. Do you import the flattened finished PSD pages into Adobe InDesign and create a final PDF doc to printers? Shane, technically that's what I would be doing, but lucky for me, I don't think I'm doing that part of the process. Someone else is going to be doing that for me. But yes, technically, if I was to do it myself, that's the exact process I would go through. And Rory, is this a personal project? Yes, it is. It is called Neo Wonderland, and it is set to go live on Kickstarter at the end of October. So I'm trying to work on this as much as possible every day and move as fast as I can. So I'm trying to do like $10, 8 hours, 8 hours per page. That's what I'm going for. Joey, no, it's somebody who's been doing it for a long time, so they know what they're doing. There's no reason for me to do it. Believe it or not, like, it's just like knowing where to spend your time. It costs money, but it definitely helps a lot, because then you get the thing out quicker and it looks better too. So oh, Joshua, thank you so much. Well, I feel like my success is your guys' success, because you've seen me working on this thing forever and a day, and you're here to like kind of, motivate me. And I'm scared to do this, but I'm doing it anyways, because I feel like if I succeed, then you guys are like, okay, if she can do it, then I can do it. That's the goal. It's like, if I could do it, you guys could do it. And I'm trying to figure out this whole thing anyways. It's like, because people ask for advice and I try to give it, but if I'm not living it, it's a little hard to like say that without a doubt it's going to work out for you, like it wouldn't make sense to do that. Like, if you guys are trying to break into an industry that's no longer the same as it used to be and how I broke in, then I can't say, oh, well, you just have to go to conventions, because it's not really the same way anymore, breaking in that way. Yeah, it does feel like it's a calling. And I was talking to my friend, and this is a big deal to people like us, I think. We have all these stories in our mind or in our head, like, that we want to tell, or things that we want to draw. And to me, I have like 4 solid stories in my brain that I really, really want to tell. And I put them in order for what stories I want to tell. The first one is obviously Neo Wonderland. Lola XOXO was a newer story, but that one came out first. This story, and then I want to tell my mom's story, and I want to tell the dragon story. And so I got kind of depressed when I was like, well, is this ever going to get launched and through the door? And so my friend and I are like, yeah, it's depressing, right? Because you have these stories you want to tell, and you want to get it out there. And we mentioned George Lucas, because he had like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, a few other ones I'm like blanking right now, but he has 4 things where if something happened to him and he wasn't here anymore, I'm sure he'd be happy with the stories he was able to tell. So that's why it's like, I know you guys are like, you got all these stories in your head. You're like, oh, which one should I work on? Which one should I do? Do the one that you care about the most first, or the one that you think you could build momentum, and then you could always go back and tell the other ones. But you got to get it out there, regardless of how you feel about what what, you know, what stage you are in your art journey, just go out and put it out there. And I think I heard someone else on YouTube say, like, well, the best time to start and practice is when no one's looking. You just put your stuff out there until you get better, and then when you do get better and people notice, it's like you have like this body of work already, but you can't hesitate, you can't wait. And it's not just people who are just starting out, it's also people who are professional, who are like going from doing one thing to a new field. They also have that, you know, fear of like doing something and starting something. So I say just put it out there. I mean, there's plenty of people who are gonna cheer you on, you know, because we're all trying to get there. That's all we can do. That's awesome, Fruity. Yeah, you guys, like, and even if, you know what, I realize that not everybody wants to go do this for a living, but they just want to make something that they could say they made, like they publishing a novel or something, you know. There's so many avenues out there. I would just put it out there just to say I finished it and did it. And it's not about the money, it's about just the process of creating something and then showing it to your family and friends, and it's really cool, you know. I don't know one person. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there, but I don't know anybody who regrets creating something and putting it out there in the world. So I mean, truth be told, I was a little depressed for a while because I was like, am I ever going to get this book off the ground? I keep saying I'm going to do it. It just, things getting, you know, you got to make money. So it's really hard to just jump into this kind of stuff. But here we are. And I was talking to my friend who's helping me with the book right now. He's like, I'm going to take off your floaty things on around your arms, and, you know, you got to jump in the water and do it. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's get a date set. Let's figure out the finances and to work everything around this and make it happen. So here we are. I gotta look up pictures of Pocky really quick. I swore I had Pocky in my favorites. Where'd he go? Gotta make sure his ears are correct. My gosh. Where is he? Ugh, I'll just come back to it later. Pink ears it is. All the money made from the first novel was donated. I have a soft spot for sick kids and innocent animals. Aw, that's awesome, Joey. That's so sweet. And you know, that's what's nice is like if you pick up momentum, like the more you do, the more resources you have to go, you know, help other passions you have, like, you know, animals, kids, of course, and maybe other artists. And Michael, actually, that is exactly why my brother named him Pocky, because he looks like a Calexico cat or something, and it looks like the cat that's on the Pocky box. So that's that's exactly why he named him Pocky. So it's not far off at all. Yeah, state of the art. It's really hard to pick something, but sometimes you just pick something, and you know what, go as far as you can with it. And if at some point you're like, nah, I can't do this, it's a road to nowhere, I then pick something else. But you just have to just do it, I guess. You know, you're not going to regret working on something, that's for sure. Oh, is Shane leaving Liberty Island? Thank you so much, Shane. Have a good rest of your day, or night. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Pencil pages. Hello. Might have missed that. Wait. I I purchased 2 fine mark brushes from Michael Stationer. Question: what black ink goes matte when it dries? Is alcohol waterproof and is good for brushes? Kuretake or the new Blink ink from England? I'm using, you probably can't see this, but it's pretty standard. It's the Kuretake Sumi Ink 60. I was able to use this with markers, and also it dries matte. So that's what I'm using for this book right now. I have the 2 other versions of the Kuretake inks, but this is the best one for me so far. I hope you haven't lost your reference. That could be cataclysmic. Kittyaclysmic. Okay, let's add some shading to Pocky Stick. I call him Pocky Stick, as you wonder. I mean, there's no wonder where I got that idea from. How come his nuggets aren't colored? There you go. The color of the nuggets is just a placeholder. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to make it green or just regular nugget colors with a smiley face on it. So it's a good placeholder. Kuretake 60. Okay, I will search online for it. I saw the Blink ink online. It's blackish ink, but the con it's from the UK. Cost 34. The Kuretake I got was you could probably get it from something pens.com. I forgot what they're called. I use them all the time. But you could get it here in the States still maybe, but if you're not careful, you might accidentally get it imported from Japan, and that is expensive. So Aliyah, no, actually, I'm able to ink first and then color with marker on top. It doesn't smudge just because it's water based. Whereas if you had like the other, like the permanent inks, for some reason, yeah, jet pens. Thank you so much, Philip. That's what I was thinking. It's been a while. Haven't really ordered any supplies in a while now, but yes, jetpens.com is awesome, and they have really good blog articles about art supplies. So. But yes, I ink and then I color afterwards. I don't know if I could try something or I could, if there's a cover piece, sketch piece, or a page I'm not working on, I could try it really quick to make sure I am correct in saying that, because it's been a minute. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let me pull out my Copics really quick. Yeah, it works. So if you do the ink first, wait for it to dry, and then you could color. Because especially if you use nibs, because it's such a thick puddle of ink that if you don't let it dry, then it's just gonna smear. So if you just wait a while before you completely dry before you ink over it or color over it. His nuggets. Well, I mean, it is his nuggets, but it's not his nuggets. Okay, FW brand acrylic ink, Joshua. I actually have that too, and I was like excited to see if it'd work, but I don't know. Maybe I should wait longer and then try to color over it, because when I tried it smeared. So I don't know if that would work, but maybe if I should just wait for it to dry first. But if it does work, you know how awesome that would be for me to ink with the FW acrylic ink and then just color over it? That would be sweet. Oh yeah, exactly. See, it takes a while, so it's hard to see who actually is carrying it. So I think jet pens, if you could go to jetpens.com and see if you could get it there for a lot quicker. And they have, I think, expedited shipping. So let me know if you find out if that's possible. Okay. Okay, let's add some highlights to him. Okay, so what color do I want? Because I haven't like figured out the lighting in the hallway yet. If the door is closed, it's probably gonna be warm lighting. I think maybe Pocky should have his own highlight layer. Okay, Joshua, I'm going to try that out. I'm excited. Hopefully that works because I have some commissions to do, and it'd be nice if I could just not think about it and not ink with multi-liners, because I don't like the line weight of multi-liners. Sometimes it's like one, there's no variation in the line, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Much better. So I know it looks like really jarring right now, but then what I'm going to do is go in and erase the lines where it's really too harsh, and then bring the contrast down a little bit. But this is good for me to see like where I'd want the definition for the highlights to go. I don't need it to be so stabilized. Okay, so for example, you could use a eraser tool, or you could use like the airbrush tool, and then see the soft airbrush tool, and then you see like this what is it? It's like a opacity swatch. It makes it so when you erase it, it just kind of blurs it out a little bit, so it's not so harsh, because he looks kind of funny right now and over rendered again. Maybe I put a little bit more of that in there. Oh, sure. Thank you so much, Joshua. Nugget Cave with a Happy Meal. Yes, it did. Okay, so if you ever read the comic book that I have on my mailing list, it's the Pocky comic. He loves this place called Happy's, and he always gets food from there. I think I might actually have a quick example of that. And so he's standing in line waiting for his nuggets, or not standing in line. He's being carried in line, I should say. Is that right here? Huh? Found it. There you go. So it's not gonna be very clear, but so here's one of the splash scenes. They're riding on the motorcycle to go get Pocky his nuggets, and then you see right here, he's like super far away, but he sees happies, and then he's in happies getting his nuggets. So that's the comic, the manga comic, whatever, comic strip that I have for my mailing list. About to try the Kuretake ink. I've been using Deleter ink for, but open to trying others. You know what, Aliyah? I remembered why I stopped using, I think it's the Deleter ink. It's because, I don't know, for some reason it makes my throat really dry. I don't know if it's the particles that are kind of, or the fumes or something. I don't really smell anything, but it always gives me a dry throat feeling. So I just kept using the ink 60, the Sumi ink, just because it makes me feel okay. It's a lot like why I'm really careful about how often I use my markers now, because I was doing 4 or 5 commissions this past weekend, and I was using markers for most of them, and oh man, I got like a headache almost from doing 4 or 5 hours of that. Even though my window was open, it just, like, you could smell it in the room, you know. Yeah, the ventilation was kind of interesting with that. Thank you so much, Cleaver. I enjoy his nuggets. Love the inking. Yeah, he's getting his nuggets. Do not tell a cat he can't have his nuggets. So here's another way to kind of, a lot of people know this trick, I think, is where you use your lasso tool and just kind of mask that off so that you could go in there and make some really cool cell shaded spots. I might as well do that for his ears as well. Okay, so oops, I missed a spot. And if you wanted to use the smudge blend tool, so this is another one of my favorite tools right here, so that I could get my cell shaded, most of it cell shaded, and go in there and just kind of blend in spots that I like. So it's a lot like Procreate if you're used to using that. And I think Photoshop has a smudge tool that works the same way, or blend tool. I don't use it as much though, so I actually prefer this tool more. Okay, so I don't know if I like the contrast too much, so I'm going to go in there and erase some of this right here. I want him to be a little kind of like, his face to be a little bit more round, so. Or maybe the bounce light could be like a blue or teal or something. Shade accent. Oh wait, wrong there. Ah. think we'll come back to that. JD, do I go on a trip when the markers? I wish. Those markers don't smell that good though. It's not like what could you sniff even though you're not supposed to that makes you go, okay, that's pretty good. Like maybe a Sharpie does that. I don't know. Or those whiteboard markers. But Copics don't smell very good. What type of sketchbook would you recommend me? I'm looking for a large or medium that has the book style, which can handle inks and markers without seeping to the page below. You know, Shinola makes really good sketchbooks, and obviously Moleskine. I don't know if I have it. Let me go grab my sketchbook. Ouch. So I don't know if you've heard of Moleskine, but they have like one that's kind of like a watercolor paper texture, and then Shinola makes really good sketchbooks too. So they look like this basically, and they're nice and sturdy, so that when you are done painting in one page, it doesn't warp as much because it's so thick, and it's got this little plastic band right here. JD, do I have a limit with layers? I don't like to go above 20. But when it's a complex page like this and I'm doing a demo, it's gonna get there. But if I was to do it just to speed time up, 15 layers max for me would be nice. If I get to 20 or something, then I start to condense it and put certain things depending on the layer. What is it? Depending on the layer filters that I'm using. But generally speaking, it's background, character, flats, and then maybe an accent thing, and then you have like each layer would have its own shadow, highlight, and then accent. So all in all, it's about 10 layers for something if I wanted to simplify it. Comics for life. Okay, so let's see here. I just did the Rockefellers, but I didn't do the colors on that. But that's the most recent thing I did with somebody, or with for a client and friend. And the one before that was Lady Mechanica, The Devil in the Lake. That one's a good showcase of just the line art and all the detail. But then if I had to go with like my traditional coloring and stuff like that, how I did that, you could do Lola Volume 3, and that one is my own personal creator-owned book. Lola XOXO Volume 3 is pretty good, but I don't think we have the trade paperback yet. So on my website, you could buy the individual comic books, the floppies, but you could get, I think, Volume 1 on and Volume 2 on Amazon. So does an AI cat still have 9 lives? No, it doesn't. It has 1 life. It actually has less lives. So if someone like deleted it or threw them in the trash can, that's it. But that's a good question. Maybe I should incorporate that in my book. Hobby Lobby for 13 10x10 and heavy board feel Master Touch sketchbooks. Oh yeah, Joey, I should check those out. Master is no nice. Yes, Francis. Yeah, Francis kind of inspired me to ink with brushes years ago. We're talking like 10 years ago, where I saw him inking in his flash books with the brush, the Sumi ink and stuff, and I'm like, this looks so cool. And he had so much, it's fluid, but then you could see that there's a lot of control with how he his mark making, so it was awesome. What was I doing? Oh yeah, kitty cat. let me see if I can show you guys how I would if I were to go in and do the neon in the background. And this is kind of exclusively just a filter that I see in Clip Studio that works awesome. And it's the name of the brush is exact, or the filter is exactly what you would think it is. It's called Add Glow, and you see how that looks right there. So this is what it looks like without the glow filter, or without the glow layer, but then when you add glow, you get like this really cool lighting effect. So I'm going to try that with Pocky right here. It's not going to reflect on his face. That's not realistic because it's so far away. But you just erase it like this. And then sometimes I go in there and write stuff in there, like you've seen my splash page before the stream starts. So actually, you know what? One second. Okay, so this is a Glyphy print, Glisse, I think it's called. So if you guys see this kind of like the background I did here, most of the lighting was done with that Add Glow filter and not filter, yeah, layer filter, and then I just wrote everything in Clip Studio Paint, the writing on there, because if you see the actual piece itself, it doesn't have the writing. I had to do that afterwards, so because that's a lot of work to do it on paper. Hello, Saya. Is it Saya Art? Say Art. Say Art. Okay, what was I doing? Oh yes, that's right. So I was explaining the little glow filter that I love so much. So you can kind of see it changes the color of the line art a little bit. So this would be towards the end of my rendering. This is what I'd end up doing, because I could go overboard and then wouldn't be doing the actual stuff on this page. And we could go in and where's the monitors? Do that to the monitors as well if I wanted to. But you know, you get the idea. I'm gonna erase this. Where's Pocky at? Okay. JD, you know what? That is a great idea. I was going to have either one tier where you get drawn into the comic book, because there's so many people in the comic book, you know, you're living in the city, so I could draw you into the comic book, or your name would be on the signs, right? Or something cool. And you're going to, for sure, I already have it where if you back the book, your name is going to be in the back of the book, a special thank you page. So that's what I have planned so far. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool if you guys are all drawn into the book. How funny would that be? It'd be like Ready Player One. Okay, Michael. Well, have a good evening. Is it? Have a good evening. The depth is starting to show up now. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Like, here's the thing with doing art. You guys know this, right? It's about patience. I don't have patience, but I know I'm supposed to have patience. And so, if I'm just like you guys, I want to get into all the shiny stuff and the pretty, colorful things, and just dodge and burn everything. But yeah, I have to be patient. Like my payoff, and for being patient is getting to do the fun stuff at the end. So I'm trying to be more patient with this thing. But yeah, especially when the background is so involved, it's really hard to like do that, Clip Studio on a tablet or just PC? I think I have it downloaded on my iPad, but I really haven't used it yet on the iPad. So I guess the answer is no. I have it, but I haven't used it because Procreate on the iPad is so good that it's kind of hard to like jump back and forth, I guess. But maybe I should try it, like animation and stuff. Thanks so much, Brett, and thanks for hanging out with us. I'm glad that you got to stop by. Chao Kuro ink from Pilot. Chao Kuro ink. I don't know if I have that ink, but I do have their pens though from Pilot. You guys need to be careful about recommending me art supplies because, as everybody knows here, I will buy everything and anything that has to do with art if I'm like, ooh, I want to try this out. So that's why I have like, in fact, let me pick up the bin really quick. This is one of the bins I have, but I have like way more than this. So this is one bin of art supplies. I have like 10 of these. I have 2 of them here, and then the rest of them are in my storage unit by the cabin. So yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna show you really quickly, so you know why you don't recommend me art supplies, okay, you guys? So we have like color pencils. We have like all this ink, Dr. Phil Martin's color ink, which I use right now. These are all my really nice brushes. So you see a lot of the Zig Kiritake brushes in here. A lot of Japanese brushes. I collect them. See how many I bought. Let's see. So I got at least 2 of the Kiritakes here because I'm using one right now, and I'm not as careful as much as I'd like to be. I'm wondering if I hogged all the Kiritake brushes on the planet, and I'm the one that owns all of them, because there's 3 right here. Because I love them so much, so. Man, oh man. Okay, and then these really cool Sumi brushes. These are awesome. So pretty. And I like art supplies that look pretty too, so. Packaging matters. Let's see. So you see this brush, it's so nice. Oh. But at least I could say that everything I bought, I've at least tried and used at least 1 or 2 times. So I'm not just collecting. I am collecting, but not really. And then this is funny. I've had this for like a long time too. So this is where all of my Palomino, my Blackwing pencils that I use. So I have like, I don't know, 5, 6 boxes of these. So yeah. We should get back to work now. But yeah, just try not to recommend any new art supplies to me, because that'd be like behind your back, like buying all this stuff. And then I have to give them away again. So one of these days, I'm gonna build myself a art supply museum and store. So bins full of possibilities and potential, right? Or just hoarding, bins of hoarding. Yeah, man. Seiya art, like, yeah, I probably spent more money than that on Copic markers. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Like right here, so this is my base marker set. So there's 2 of them, 2 pouches that I use here, yeah, so I have these, and then I have these, and then I have ones that I don't have the refills for, so they're just kind of sitting in the box and bin. And so my refill bin is like, oh my gosh. It's like right here. So this is my refills. It's bad. And I just moved here, so I'm actually, it's been 6 months now. I haven't really done anything with cleaning up my or organizing everything, so. Audio cafe, yeah, don't feel weird. Trust me. Everybody in this chat, I promise you, they have got bins or drawers of art supplies, and now you guys are like, oh, we it's not a secret. It's an open secret. We all have it. So, and I'm still thinking about like how to give them away, and I have to figure out what supplies I want to give away. But definitely in the Kickstarter, there might be an art tier or something where I put like a signed pencil sketch and something. I haven't figured it out yet because got to get this book done first. Yes, yeah, saw art for sure. Markers are like, it is alcohol markers, so. Yeah, you know, the black wings are interesting because there's so many different ones, and they do feel different, but if you're not used to using them all the time, you think that they're all the same. But like, I've been using the black one a lot lately, actually. Okay, so to the point where I can't find it anymore. So short. Oh, here it is. So out of these, I actually like the black one the most, a little bit more. The black ones and the white one. I haven't tried the other ones out as much, so I'm not sure how they would be when I'm drawing, but. Devastator Omega, I think the Ohuhu, people are telling me the Ohuhu markers are really good. I haven't used it myself. I've seen other people using it, and I have them here. I probably should try it out, and I'll let you know what I think of them. I just like the color selection for Copics, you know? We're not comparing bins, are we? Like, I'm 3 bins in, I'm 4 bins in, I'm 10 bins in. Someone in here has got like 20 bins. Oof. If you have 20 bins of art supplies, raise your hand. Yeah, pencil pages, yeah. You know what? So in Hawaii, they had this. It was a Japanese market. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but they had a food court, but they had like this little tiny art supply stationery little area in the food court. And you're right. Like, instead of me going to get the food first, I'd go through the art supplies first and then go get my food. So, heaven. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of this purple in the background because it's distracting to me for panel 2. So let's do that. Let's just see how far we can get with we have half an hour. Let's try to finish panel 2 up, the background and stuff, so you don't have like a weird unfinished feeling in your head. What is this? Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I'll do that. I feel like we got all super excited talking about art supplies, because I know I did. I'm all like pumped now, like, yes, art supplies. You guys will be the first to see a tour of the of my office once I actually get around to finishing and getting everything in the right places. It'd be like an office tour or something. It, um, it's a little bit bigger than an A4. It's like a little bit bigger than a tabloid. So my scanner is the Epson Workforce 7710, and it's a printer scanner combination, and it's really good for what I do because I sometimes the paper is a little bit bigger than 11 by 17, so it scans. I think it scans 12 by 15 or no 12 by 18. I have to look. I think you guys know more than I do. Could acrylic pencils work for comic book work? Oh, why not? I mean, if you have the time to do it, I'd say go for it. Pencil pages. Oh, things I saw for a second. How much is my scanner nowadays? When I bought it, I felt like it was cheap because I don't know if you guys remembered it back a few years ago. Flatbed scanners that scanned above 11 by 17 were like $1,000. So for me to get like one that was a printer scanner at that price point, that was really, really good. So, whew, was it really at $1,200? Wow. I got an old one, so I don't know. Yeah, it should be about $300. So you're probably looking at the really pro one. I think that's why it's $1,200. Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about, dude. It's like what is it? Trade J, the blend tool right there. Saw art. See, is it? Say art. Yep. In fact, maybe I'll use it right here. Oh. A little bit right there. Okay. Getting rid of that magenta and purple. Devastator Omega. Oh, please don't ask me that question. Don't ask me that question. What would the first thing I'd go for? Let's see. You know, truth be told, I bought everything at the art supply store. I guess I'd buy another airbrush maybe. Oh no, I'm just sitting here like, oh, I would buy everything. Can I buy the whole art store if I had all the sprees paid for, everything? I would buy the whole art store. Is that fair? Okay, T-Art. Okay, thank you so much. I'm like, I don't want to screw it up. I fell in love with the fountain pen inks, especially the dragon blood, brown and black inks for sketching and drawing. Yeah, I can imagine. Because I have inks, but I don't feel like I have ones just for sketching. They're mostly like for coloring, and so they're like the really bright colors and primary colors. Oops, what was that all about? Oh, I see why. We're all daydreaming about buying stuff at the art store now. Yeah, I know. But would I run an art supply store? Yes, I would. I'm actually trying to find a new business to like run, sort of like, because we rented out the cabin, so we have the real estate. But now I kind of want like a shop or a physical store of some sort, whether it's like a little market or I was thinking like arcade or something like that. So yeah, if I had an art supply store, I would definitely run it and work at the same time. Like I'd have my design studio in the background or in the back or something, comic book studio, and then you could buy comic books there or something, and then like a spinning rack, and then it would have all the art supplies. So it'd be like a multi-use art store kind of. Because there's some small ones around. There's like a couple small bookstores. I'm kind of inspired by how they set everything up. So that way, because it's really hard to find like a physical store that's super niche now. So it's good to kind of like create an experience for people to want to go into a physical store. Because merely just buying stuff, a lot of times you could do it online nowadays. So the only thing that you have going for you as a physical location is like the experience of being there, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. So. Everybody, I was living in when I was living near, at the cabin. We had a cute little downtown and cute little shops here and there, but I feel like there was a market and enough hunger for the kind of stuff that we do. The one comic book store that was there, they closed down a few months after I moved there, and I was so bummed. Even though it was like a small shop and didn't sell brand new comic books, it had used books and it had like pinball machines, but it was kind of like the idea was there, so. Oh yeah, the color erase pencils. I have a few of those actually. I have like the sepia tone colors and like purple and stuff. Is it auto correcting your spelling? The black and dark brown. I think they do. If you go to Michael's, they probably have them like in those little slots. Do arcades still exist? I think they do, but I know they do in Europe for sure. When I was in Amsterdam, they had this really cool arcade, and it was like sweet. And it was next to like a old used video game store. It had all the old classic games, and then right next to it was like an arcade, and had like the neon glow, like the paint that was on the wall and stuff. It was super awesome. So I was inspired, like, hey, you know what? I think it would work. I think you just have to put everything you got into like creating like this really cool escape environment you could escape into, kind of like a theme park for adults basically. Because I think after let's just say the 90s with arcades and stuff, we all kind of got away with like, well, everybody's buying these things, and so you don't really put a lot of effort into how you would create like something that stands out and something unique and fun. And a lot of businesses got away with doing that. Let's just say, for example, GameStop. But at some point, like we craved more than just, buying things. We wanted like an environment or like a place that we could kind of escape to, like a library, that smells like oak and old books and ink and soft lighting. And you see the history and everything. That's the kind of place I want to be in. Oh, catch you later, Sketch. So Mark. Arcade gym. That is such a good idea. The arcade gym should have DDR. And like what is it? Initial D, stuff like that. Games where you're in that, what's that? House of the Dead, I think it was called. I forgot what it's called. But those games are awesome. But yeah, DDR would be awesome. Because I used to play DDR all the time, so that's why it was the first thing that came up. Did you put it at like normal speed, or did you slow it down by a little, like by a couple speeds, so that like you had enough time to catch up? Yeah, we had the mat too, but I played at the arcade, so it's how I got my workout during lunch break. Pencil pages. Oh no, is that the game where they have the metal rod while frantically stomping on the multicolored plexiglass floor with techno music blasting on the display? Yes! That would be the game. Yeah, even on slower speeds. You guys are so funny. One of these days, if I find a DDR machine, I thought I saw one recently, I will play it and I will film myself so you can see how ridiculous it is. I wonder if I could still do it though. It's been a while. I haven't done it since like Hawaii. So, am I gonna self-publish this comic manual? Yes, I am. Yeah, Jerry, I would be so cool. Like a big warehouse, arcade gym, so you'd have people doing CrossFit on one side, and then you have people doing DDR on the other side. I think that would be awesome. And then on one side you'll have like Gatorade, or all the your hydration vending machines, and on the other side is like stuffed animals that type of vending machine. So oh, we have an idea for a business, you guys. Should we kickstart that? The arcade gym and comic book store. Arcade gym, comic book store. And you can rent a few video games there and videos of like the best movies. Oh my gosh, pencil pages. Yes, there's people I have friends that do use both platforms. It's insane. Yeah, you guys, we could do it. Like we built one, and then once we have the business model down, then you guys could franchise it, and we'll workshop the concept and how it looks and everything. How cool would that be? Like I really think that would work, because it's so exciting. Make it more like designed in a way where it doesn't look corporate, and Sia's Arcadium and Comic Book Vault. Yes, I love that name so much. Arcadium. That makes it sound so classy. I miss Blockbuster too, but I really feel like if you were to do it right and you designed it well, you light it right, man, I would watch movies there. I wouldn't even go home. I would just pick out a movie from the shelf and pay for it, and just watch it in one of the rooms or something where you got bean bags and really cool lighting and like lava lamp. I don't know, something cool. And then you have like Transformer toys on one side, and then like He-Man toys on the other side, and Ninja Turtles. I mean, tell me you guys wouldn't want to go hang out in a place like that. Yes. It would look like a miniature mall, right? And then you'd have mall rats playing. I don't know. But yeah, it's an idea. It's not impossible. You just have to want it, I guess, to do that. I know, they'd have to force you to leave, right? I'm gonna make his monitor desk. You guys got me all excited. Now I'm a little sad because I really want this thing. Will you sell chocolate pretzels with this mall rats theme? Why not? Let's do chocolate pretzels. Let's do Orange Julius type of drinks. And what else are we missing? What else would you guys want in this place? Oh, Cleaver, yeah, that would be cool. I mean, if you guys are like excited about it, imagine if it actually happened, right? Like, how cool would that be? Then we could franchise it. Someone say street tacos. Street tacos! And really cheap pizza. Like, that tastes almost like cardboard with pepperoni and really big gulps and slurpees. Well, if they don't get to experience it, we gotta bring it to them, JD. We have to do it. I don't see why not. We gotta find a good location to kind of workshop this idea and have it be our, what do you call it? Startup ice cream shop. Yes, ice cream shop. And yeah, New York style pizza would be awesome. But then what if people like Chicago style pizza? What do we do about that? Do we stack like 3 New York style pizzas on top of each other? And that would be a deep dish because, you got to save money. You know what, John, you're right. Like it's about just like finding that one movie, and it's about searching for it more than it is about like wanting to see the actual movie itself. Because I don't know how many times we would go to like Blockbuster and find like this thing that you always wanted to watch, and it just looked like it was something you were going to watch at some point. Or it's a movie you want to see and everybody already rented it. It's like the FOMO of that is awesome. And you know what? Just so that we could like immortalize this conversation, I'm gonna put maybe a page in my comic book that's gonna be what I would want this arcade to look like. Arcade / gym / comic book store / video store, I guess. Yeah, I'll do that. Maybe I'll put that in one of the pages. That would be awesome, right? A ghost mall. Yeah, those things would be kind of expensive and huge, right? I know that nowadays, like, they don't really do anything with them. They're just kind of there. And in the city I was formerly, where I was living, there was a mall there, and it was kind of sad. So I wonder how much money it would cost just to try to revitalize the mall the way that I think it should be. Make it a 2-story lounge plus cafe. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to draw this in my comic book, you guys. Now that you mention it, I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be in the middle of the book because there's one scene that I could do that with. And I'm going to dedicate that to you guys. So yeah, it's funny because I was supposed to draw the scene or the background for that scene, and I haven't done it yet. But the fact that we're talking about this, I feel like that's the best environment for that scene. So it's really important. Yeah, at least you guys get to see the idea, and then I'll remember, and it's going to be in the front of my head. And if something awesome happens with a book, guess what? Maybe we can make it happen in real life. So mark my words. We're gonna have the Sia. What is it called? Emporium. Gameplorium or something, Arcade Polorium. Ooh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Palladium. I want to see this place. Where are the nuggets? See, we're starting to stack up on layers, you guys. This is way too many layers. So Dave & Buster's is like that, but I feel like Dave & Buster's, because of how big it is, it doesn't feel cozy. And I think that's my problem with some of these bigger establishments, like the Dave & Buster's and the game, what was it called? It was in downtown Seattle. Anyways, I think it's the size and scale. I think there's a certain size and scale of a room where it becomes less intimate, and so it doesn't feel... GameWorks, thank you. It doesn't feel intimate. I like the idea of it being kind of like almost like your living room or your friend's house. That's just like, imagine if it was like a mansion and it just was filled with... Remember that one movie Big with Tom Hanks where he had like the arcade cabinet and he had like the bunk beds? I'm not saying it's going to look like that, but I think that that's more cozy, and I think I like the cozy kind of warehouse environment with like a brick wall and just exposed beams and stuff like that, and the lighting is really dark but it's not echoey. It just feels cozy, and I think that's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking arcade. Remember that one scene in Ninja Turtles, was it 2, where they were like, it was underground and you got all this like skating rink and all that stuff? It was pretty cool. So I think that that's kind of what I'm going for, something a lot like edgier in a way. Not saying that they didn't do it, but yeah, just more, not a bunch of arcade cabinets just kind of sitting in the same spot and there's like nothing to it. I think I would like to set it up where it just feels like every single arcade cabinet had like a special place for it. The surroundings, maybe the wall, it's wallpaper, the couches, maybe the lighting would be special to the arcade cabinet. Like if it's a fun and playful game, I would light it a certain way. And then like if it was a scary game, like Jurassic Park or something, it wouldn't just be the cabinet. You would have it, like, let's just say you put plants around it or something, and smoke, so there's mood lighting and all that, and make it just exciting, like more interesting. So you're not just playing the game, but the surroundings around you make you feel like you're just in that world. So that's kind of what I was thinking when I was thinking about this. Pie hostess used to, yeah, I remember those hostess pies. They had green filling. Nature. Right there. Oh, state of the art. I wonder how much that would cost to get all of the comic book characters and stuff. Like, how much do you think that would run you if you had, let's just say, a wall of Sideshow collectible statues? I mean, I think it probably costs almost as much as the building itself, right? Yes, Jerry, like very inviting and comforting. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, I know that there's things out there, but as someone who is in love with, you know, video games and the nostalgia, I really would love to design something that made me feel cozy and like escape, because why else would people play arcade cabinets when they have consoles at home? But I guess let me ask you this: if you had the option of going to a place where you could hang out and also play games, would you do that, or would you just stay at home? And it's the same games, for example. It'd be the Call of Duties, it'd be the Street Fighter games. 300,000. Yeah, that for sideshow that sounds about right. If you had all of them. But maybe there's a trade where if you displayed some of their statues, even though you do pay for some of them, like they would be able to make they would be able to get people to order the statues from the arcade. So then there's a decent trade that you could do, maybe. Where's the desk? Okay, Josh, well, thanks for hanging out with us. Well, we'll see you soon, I guess, right? I'm about, actually, you know what? You're just in time. I'm going to probably call it an evening pretty soon here. So thank you for hanging out. We'll do it again definitely Saturday, I think, this time. So. Never plays that Operation Wolf or even Street Fighter Rainbow Edition. I would go play there. I know that that's cool. Like, even a couple of arcade cabinets wouldn't be bad. You know, like all the popular games. That's not Pac-Man and Donkey Kong. People can win them in challenges. Yeah, wouldn't that be cool? So you, even though you, I think it's worth it to do all of those sideshow collectibles. See what I mean? Like, it makes you feel like you're there. Heck, even Metal Slug or Aliens versus Predator arcade. Yeah. Remember the Simpsons game? That was cool. I loved Gradius and I loved Raiden. I loved all those like airplane like shooter games and Contra. Oh, I would want a Contra machine. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, Peace and Quiet. Yes. See you later, Joshua. Okay, so I'll check that one out. The arcade Tokyo Station in YouTube, Dallas area on YouTube. Okay, cool. I'll check that out. So tea art, yes, I have inked with nibs. The reason why I'm not doing it now is I like the way brushes look for the most part for my figures, and also the dry time. I'm so impatient that if I inked with a nib, chances are, you know me, even with a smudge guard, I'd just go right over the inked areas and it would look, it'd be something that even my Poshka, white Poshka marker couldn't fix because I tried that and it looks horrible. I mean, I did that with this page actually. It's a mess. Akari Warriors, yes. I haven't really played that one, but yes, that one. So Contra was awesome. That was my favorite. What other one would be fun to have as an arcade? I guess Shinobi would be kind of cool. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of Sega arcade cabinets from what I can remember. Games that besides the fighting games, maybe. I'm trying to be realistic too with myself. Is like, what games am I really gonna play if I had an arcade, or am I just saying it because I like the idea of it and I'm never gonna play them? So, yes, TR, I am using the Kuretake manga ink. It's the Sumi Ink 60. Ninja Gaiden would be awesome. Yes, and remember Shinobi from Sega? That was awesome. Today, but when you're streaming and you're not in flow and well practice, how long would a page like this take me to complete? You know, I think this is the only the second time I've actually colored a page in Neo Wonderland, and since I'm still trying to figure out how much rendering I want to do, because I don't want to over render and then under render, because I like a certain dimension. I'm willing to bet, like, if I was focused and I'm just coloring, probably 6 hours on this page. And this is pretty detailed, and you know what, I'm gonna figure out how long it takes to flat the next live stream, which is going to be all background or establishing shot of the city, and that's going to be really involved. And so I'm curious to see how long that takes me to flat. And then when you guys finally see the live stream, it's going to be just doing the pretty stuff again instead of like doing flats like this, which take a long time when you're not focused. So okay, I obviously didn't finish this page today, and after I get off the stream today, I think I'm gonna I have to finish inking a page, and then I have to start on the establishing shot page for the Kickstarter. So why should that glow? Oh, thank you. I know, see, I needed that there, that panel, the top panel, to kind of draw me into the book, because I felt like, you know, I don't like looking at color flats. It's kind of boring, and it's just, I need that, like that dopamine hit right away. So that's why it looks like that already. But you know what, you guys, I am going to call this done for now, and I think we'll stream again on Saturday, same time Saturday, like we always do. I just did it this time because we were nowhere near this last Saturday, so I felt like I should show you a little bit more of this page, but maybe I'll wait until next Saturday to do a little bit more of it. We'll see. But yes, this coming Saturday is going to be another stream for another page. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I had so much fun talking about art supplies, daydreaming about this arcade comic book art store place that's going to be mine someday, but I will draw it in the comic book, so that's going to be fun. Okay, you guys, well, have a good afternoon. Glad to see you you guys are here on Monday. I'm so happy that some of you took some time off from work, and also during lunch maybe. So you guys have a good evening on my end, or afternoon. So we'll see you in a few days. Bye, you guys. Bye, you guys. What was that again? Thank you. Yes, I'll start calling them out. Awesome. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.